People. Pray for your friends, people.
Why would we starting every episode off like this, clowning? Why?
Because you be always clowning. You be the one always clowning. You like to blame it on me, but you be the one stay clowning.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Lord, have mercy on your people, God. Welcome back to another episode of the Love You to Life podcast.
Y'all.
Where you're going to find us giggling. We're going to laugh around here.
And here's the problem, y'all. This is not even a funny episode. This is a serious episode.
It's really not.
It's literally a serious episode.
It really is. However, one thing about us, what we're going to do is we're going to have the joy of the Lord. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have joy. That's what we're going to do.
Still going. She's still going, y'all. She's still going.
Oh, God. Because I'm going to be found laughing. When he come, he going to find me laughing.
Welcome, Love You to Lifers. You are listening to two intelligent, degreed people who are not
licensed, bona fide, credential.
Getting ready to talk to you about a serious topic. However, just prior to this conversation, shenanigans were had.
And they will be happening again because shenanigans, what? Shenanigans going to shenanigan. That's what it's going to do.
We are talking about a topic that came up a couple of different ways. And you know how we generally feel like if something comes up 2 or 3 times, we got to bring it to the lifers because the lifers need to hear it. And so it came up because there was a TikTok where someone was talking about nervous system regulation, particularly in Black women. It should be out by the time this episode comes out. We were on someone else's podcast recently, and that topic came up again there. And so we're talking like, it's Minority Mental Health Month. Maybe this is just the right episode for the right time. So what we are getting ready to talk about is something called weathering. And
have y'all heard of that?
If you're not familiar with that term, Liz is going to define it for you.
I am.
Because
now who's shenanigans?
Because it is relevant that we have a really clear understanding of this concept and why we believe it is so important, particularly during Minority Mental Health Month, for women of color to understand what weathering is, where this phenomenon was kind of, the research for it comes from, but most importantly, what it actually means for how we live a high quality life. A lot of times we talk about mental health in terms of like a diagnosis, right? I got anxiety, I got depression, I got trauma, right? But the reality is some of the things that most impact a Black woman's life do not have a diagnostic code in the DSM. And weathering is a concept that has not been explored by any of the people who create the DSM, but it absolutely is something that is probably showing up. And so we'll let the Elizabeth White describe it for y'all in detail.
Well, first of all, we also want to just include in that we are left out of research regularly. Whether it's medical research, whether it's the mind-body connection, whether it is the mental health research, so many times our population is left out of that conversation. And that is part of the reason that I really am so committed we're so committed to sharing this with you. So the concept around weathering is a public health identifier, honestly. And it came from, I believe her name is Arline Geronimus. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but in the 1990s, she did this research and came up with this word of weathering to describe the early accelerated biological aging that results from chronic exposure to racism, discrimination, socioeconomic stress, not lifestyle choices. Okay? Now,
say that last part one more time. Say that last part.
Not from lifestyle choices. Because I know they're going to tell us to put our fried chicken down. They're going to tell us to take that ham out of them greens. Now, our family does use smoked turkey, not greens now. However, and so we do care about lifestyle choices. But nobody's really talking to to our population about this other stuff, because y'all miss this other stuff and skip over this other stuff. But this other stuff deeply affects us, to this basically would tell us to the molecular, to the
Mm,
molecules, hello somebody, to the molecular level of our bodies. The way we feel about racism, about sexism, about discrimination, and the socioeconomic stress. Would it
right.
be stressful, Cal, for somebody to go and get a loan and have the same credit report as somebody else, but maybe get a 10% interest rate versus a 6.5?
Yes.
I would say that was stressful, ma'am and sir. I would say that's stressful. Would it be stressful to be the most qualified person in the room, and yet they bring somebody else in and pay them more and give them a higher title than you when you're the most qualified and most certified in the room?
Yes.
Yes, I would say that both of those answers are yes. And so, how does your body process that? This phenomenon is called weathering. And what it says is if you don't have an outlet, if you don't have a way to manage that, and the word is it's called an allostatic load. Allostatic load. If you don't have a way to manage that, then it is possible that your body is aging. So you might be young and fine, 35, but on the inside, you might be 45, you might be 55. And when you're looking at how long, especially for women of color, how long it could be happening, it could start even younger, right?
Mhm.
Because we are adultified as children. So some of the things that we are exposed to and some of the things that we deal with, we're dealing with them well before our peers are dealing with them,
Mhm.
right? And that means we have longer to weather. We have
Right.
longer to age at a faster rate on the inside, because we take great pride, don't we, sisters, in Black Don't Crack. We take
Absolutely.
great pride in that. We take great pride in that.
Absolutely.
We love a tight cinch jawline, at all of our ages. But the question is, what's going on the inside of your body?
Boop, boop.
And so, right, is your cortisol level higher? Is your blood pressure higher? Are you managing stress in a way that is not going to work for you long term? And so some of this, I think, original data came from maternal outcomes, that
Yes.
Black women had different birth outcomes than our white counterparts, and so that was a part of it. And we know right now in our maternal, we're still having this research was done in the 90s, and are we not still concerned about Black maternal care?
Right,
Are we?
because that's one of the contracts that we have, right? One of the contracts that we have with a major hospital system in Indiana. What we were brought in because of their specific desire within the last 5 years
Yes,
to address, Black maternal mortality. And the year that we started doing that training, they had two or three significant, like essentially on the surface completely healthy young Black moms that died in childbirth before we
yes,
came into train. So
yes.
this when we talk about that mind body connection, like you said, it absolutely is relevant.
Mhm.
So relevant.
And so one of the other things I definitely wanted before because we kind of wanted to define it. One more thing I want in the definition, because I know some people, some of our sisters who are high achieving, who have made it out, OUT, out in parentheses, they're going to say, "Well, thank God I make what I make. Thank God I live where I live. Thank God I do what I do." But I want you to know that that you are not exempt because of your current socioeconomic status.
I got
I
you
want
there.
you to know that your current income and your education levels do not make you exempt from experiencing weathering. And I'm gonna take it another further.
Oh God, she just won't let up on y'all today.
I'm just gonna go one more. I'm just gonna tiptoe out here and say one more thing. I think the higher you go, sometimes the heavier it is. And I would use our forever first lady, Michelle Obama. I would use
Mm.
her because she been out the White House for how long now? And y'all still got her name in your mouth in a negative way, talking
Stay
about
in your stay in their mouth. Just
in a
stay in
racist.
their mouth.
You still racist and misogynistic to her, and she ain't even here. And she got more education in her, not in her pinky finger, and her pinky fingernail. She got more education than y'all do, and you still running her down, still talking about her. So we can make the case that just because you go higher does not mean you are exempt, because I think that it still shows up in those rooms, and sometimes it's even worse in those rooms than what you might expect in some other places. So I
I
said what I
agree.
said.
I agree. And I also think she gives us a good example, which we'll get to a little bit later on today. She gives a really good example of what you have to do, right? Because when she said, I'm not going to the inauguration, I won't be there.
I loved it.
She said, and here's the thing, I love, and this is a completely sidebar moment, but I've seen people ask her about this. And what she said is, I had to be very intentional. I said, don't pack a dress. Don't send me, I don't do my hair. She was very intentional. Like, I'm not letting this become something where, like, well, maybe I could. She put a barrier around that thing and said, I'm putting out anything that might look like I'm showing up.
Because I'm not going.
And they wanted to drag her for filth for not going. Why would you want somebody who makes you into a monkey meme? Why would you want to sit there and do this?
Ooh, wait. Ooh, wait. Don't even say that again. Don't even. Ooh. My goodness gracious.
Anyway.
But
So
here's the thing about it.
yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't know if I jump ahead, pull me back. But I just want to say that we may not have in some of our circles things that are happening may not be as obvious or as blatant, but we are still having that experience of they putting you in a monkey meme and you got to sit there and clap. I just want to say that I'm holding space for the sisters who are actually experiencing that wherever you are right now, that you don't think you have the out to be able to forego whatever this experience is. And in your heart, it's like they got you on this monkey meme, but you still got to clap. I'm just holding space for you that you still got to clap, that you at
And
least
you
think
know
you do.
what? And you know what? We have notes. We not on the notes right now. I just need to make sure y'all know we not on the notes right now. We just a little off the notes, okay?
What the pastor said I got off my notes. I'm going a different direction.
So there was a TikTok going around, and I actually blocked this girl.
What? Did you say you blocked her?
The way I block people now, you guys, it's
Let me tell you
really
something.
it's becoming a little addictive.
Let me tell you
It's
something.
like,
Calvin's block fingers like lightning bolt. Boom, boom, yo.
and
She'll
whenever
block you
I
so
block
fast.
people, I take a video of when I block them because I want a record of it. Why I blocked you, right?
What did you say?
I take a screen recording of it when I block. Okay,
Why are you doing that, Cal?
because I want a record of it. I don't want to accidentally fall back into no trip. I don't want if I you're gonna get blocked for me if you bad for my enjoyment of the medium, right? If you're gonna be a rage baiter, you gotta go. If
But
you're a
Cal,
racist, you gotta go. If you
y'all,
get my
I'm
time
sorry, I'm
target, you
stuck
gotta go.
here. I'm stuck here. Are you saying that you will actually screen record every time you block someone and keep it for
I
your
have done
record?
it. Like, I don't know if I always do it, but I definitely do. I
Like it's a
definitely,
receipt.
and I
Like
would
it's a
definitely
receipt.
post it too. Like if somebody say something out of pocket, for sure. Because here's the reason why.
Too
There's a
funny.
video of this girl, and I don't know how old she is, but she's getting married in 2026. So she is an adult. I'm gonna say she's a young adult. I'm not sure if she's biracial or Black, but she is a person of color, and the majority of her friends are not people of color. They were on a boat. I'm gonna say majority. I didn't see a Black person on her page beside her. Okay,
Okay.
including her fiance, which not a problem. But follow the story. So on this story, they were getting ready to take a picture, and the person who, I don't know if this was the captain or whoever was on the boat, was like, she was in the middle of a few white people, and they said, "Hey, monkey in the middle, we need you to do such and such." Okay.
My face right now, because if you listening, okay.
She
What?
looked a
Monkey in the
little
middle?
uncomfortable. She looked a little uncomfortable, but she posted it as if it was kind of funny.
Poor thing. Help her,
And
Lord.
so what I know, Black women of a certain age for sure were trying to school her and like, ain't nothing funny, dog. Nothing's funny
Mhm.
there. And guess what? You probably shouldn't be on a boat with somebody who's willing to call you a monkey to your face.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. People talk about the conversations, the conversation we have with our sons. Let me tell you something. Around these parts, we've had conversations with the daughters. Before Calvin's daughter went to school, now Calvin's drinking her water or her tea or whatever she has, right? Because we had the conversation with her daughter to say, hey, don't you be out here. I'm gonna save it.
So, but here's the problem why we want to have this conversation around weathering. because I think there is a population of people who believes when you reach a certain status, these are not, that's not my kind of thing, right? So she's still experiencing racism, whether or not her body is reacting to it or not. Who knows? We don't know what's happening on the inside. But she got mad that people were telling her, "You need to check your friend. You need to, I think some people probably, said some other unkind things to her, right? In a, like a grab you by your collar sort of way. But she missed the point. She was like, instead of her being mad at the person who called her a monkey, she was mad at the Black people for calling her out for not saying nothing to the person. So
She's
I think
unaware.
we have this unfortunate narrative of once you've got enough of the good, the bad doesn't matter. And I think what the concept of weathering tells us is that's just not true on a biological level.
Right. Right. But
And
here's
if you
the thing, the
remember that,
high-achieving woman needs to pay attention to this
yeah,
because yeah, the high-achieving woman, we I think our culture and our community thinks that if you're just strong, if you just keep pushing through, if you're just resilient, that it's not affecting you. And that's a lie.
it's a lie. And I distinctly remember after I separated from my now ex-husband, I remember being so livid because I was at probably my healthiest weight in my adult life. And that is when my blood pressure
Sure
got
did.
to the point where I had to start taking medication. I
Sure
was
did.
I was exercising. I mean, y'all, during the pandemic, you couldn't catch me. I would walk 3, 4, 5 miles
Sure
and
did.
was in such great shape, right? And I'm getting back there now. But that, and I was like, wait a minute. My doctor's name, Dr. Romero. Dr. Romero, excuse me? Excuse me, what? You
Sure
mean I
did.
gotta take some medication
Sure did. She was mad.
now? But the truth is, the 10 years preceding that, we
When your
were
body said, we're done. We've had all we can take, ma'am. For 10 years, we done held you down, ma'am. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to need a little assistance.
right. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that because we do look good on the outside, because we are giving off Black girl magic, because we are, so that weathering idea, when we think about weathering in terms of like other people, will be like, y'all wrinkly, y'all look bad. We tend to look good on the outside, but on the inside, there's a bit of a challenge.
I need to ask our sisters here just one moment. Sisters, do y'all be,
Oh,
I'm just curious because we do this. Do y'all look at people's social media and then send it to somebody and say, how old is she? How old is he? Do
why
y'all
you
do
been
that?
telling all our
I just wondered.
business?
I just wondered because we usually get the good responses on the outside for sure because we'd be like, nah. But I just wonder, do y'all do that? Because we do that. We do that. My husband even does it. Babe, how old is he? He did me like that yesterday, Kim. We was watching this show, The Traders, and he was like, "How old is XYZ?" And I was like, 62. He was like, "Babe, he 35." I'm like, "Stop lying! Stop lying!" Okay,
Oh,
next.
that's rough.
Go ahead.
So here's what we want you to know, what might be showing up as weathering in your life that you might not have recognized it, right? So there's this kind of connection, which is like migraine, gut, autoimmune.
Autoimmune, you could sit right there. We could do that's a whole nother podcast episode. Speaking of which,
Those
I am going to do a TikTok about what's her name? Mina Long? Uh
money money long. I think it's money.
Money Long? Money Long? She wrote the Hours and Hours song, right? Or sang Hours and Hours. Ain't that the one?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Lupus, the way she just talked about how y'all need to go and look up. I think she's on Good Morning America, maybe. I'm going to follow our social media because I'm going to do a post about it because I was so proud of her for acknowledging that she had not been taking care of herself like she was taking care of everyone else. And she believed that that was a part of her body going through that experience. And she said from here on out, to keep herself healthy, she will not do life the way she
Yeah,
had been doing
right.
life. Okay, go
And
ahead.
I mean, I think she almost died. Like,
She
I don't
was
think
sick.
at the time people were kind of making fun of her because she was on, there's that, when you're on the steroids and different things and you keep trying to push through, like I think she had a couple concerts where her voice wasn't great and she was kind of swollen and different things. But I think she actually literally almost died. And that's the thing that I really want us to understand is that even when you achieve to a particular level, you have a certain amount of access, you still do have that biological impact of your current stressors, but you also have the genetic piece. right?
The genetic.
We have that genetic piece that from that history of trauma, that history of slavery, all these different things that do make us predisposed to certain things. And if we're not acknowledging that impact and just trying to carry it, it it shows up in your body. And your body will sometimes be giving you these signs and these signals like, oh, I'm having these migraines. Or my stomach is sensitive, girl. I got a sensitive stomach.
You know what I say? Anxiety lives in the gut. Let's not play. Anxiety lives in the gut. If you are the person who comes up with these mysterious, moments of your digestive tract not doing what you needed to do, I would ask yourself some questions about that. Have you been stressed out? Did something upset you? Because here's the way I describe it in my clinical spaces. It's like, you're going through the world and you're forcing yourself to swallow something you're not supposed to swallow.
My God, today.
Okay? So your digestive tract is saying, hey, 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 you swallowed that situation. That situation was not supposed to be swallowed. You
Uh,
swallowed those feelings were not supposed to be swallowed. And it has to show up. It wasn't maybe a literal food, but it was something that you swallowed that is saying, hey, 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 this doesn't work. This is not jiving. And that digestive tract will tell on you in a heartbeat.
if you are the one who is considered the strong one in every room that you step into, and you know who you are, you're the strong one at church, you're the strong one at work, you're the strong one in your family, you're the strong one in your community. If that is you, and you know good and doggone well, nobody's saying, "How are you today?"
My God.
If people listen, if somebody call you, be like, "Okay, what you need?" Because you know they're not going to ask you what's actually going on. That is probably some weathering happening on you. Another thing that I've seen is people who are tired of code switching.
So tired.
And
So
that's a
tired.
specific type of exhaustion too. Like, right? You're just like, I just don't have it in me to be nice, to put on a smile, to be friendly. I slept plenty, but I just don't have the energy to put on the mask that is necessary to be in this space.
I'm
And I'd
tired.
rather just not even go than to participate in this.
Right. I'm tired. How many times have you called in because you just couldn't do it that day? I just
Mm.
can't do it. I just cannot sit across from this person who I know backstabs me in all the meetings, downplays my credentials and certifications, doesn't hold space for me in the rooms that I'm supposed to be in. I just can't even do it today. So let me just call in sick.
If you have felt like I'm not this old, but my body feels old, that is weathering. And
My God, today, Lord, have mercy on the people.
if you are in your car and you like, oh my God, that's what it is. Now, as per usual, we're not going to leave you there, but I just need you to acknowledge that you look good, sis. What they say, you still look good, but we got to pay attention to that inside because them blood vessels and them organs need you to put some of this stuff down. And the truth is, the conversation that the major mainstream world is having is all about Bath and Body Works candles and bubble baths. This is not that kind of self-care doesn't do a doggone thing for weathering.
Friend,
Okay?
that pedicure won't solve the problem, friend. The pedicure, it doesn't matter whether you're at an Asian salon or a black one, it won't fix it.
Now why would you say that?
I'm just letting y'all know. It don't matter which salon you go to. If you boycotting and you ain't going to the Asians and you done found the brothers and sisters that have salon, it doesn't matter. The pedicure is not solving this, friend. The manicure is not solving it, friend.
And the truth is because the problems are structural. So imagine that you get an hour of reprieve every week, but 167 hours is you feeling like you fight for your life. That
My
1 hour is
God.
not going to help you.
That is such a great point to bring in. It just is never ever going to do the work. It's just never ever enough. It's like you can go ahead and if you are going to eat bad every single day and then you're going to work out on Sundays, we're still going to be able to tell. We're still going to be able to tell that that probably is not the way you actually live. It's not a lifestyle for you of making the healthy choice for your body, right? So, yes, you cannot put in 1 hour of what we're going to call the self care that can try to help you through weathering and expect it to work when 150 hours is putting you right in the smack dab middle of everything that would cause you to be in a situation of weathering. That was such a good point.
And so what we're talking about is the difference between like soothing or comforting and actually addressing, right? So it's like self-care might say, "Oh, I deserve this help, this good dinner. I'm going out to dinner with my friends." But the truth is you are in an economic crisis, and that $100 that you're about to spend on that meal means that you're not going to have the $100 you need for groceries this week, right? So the question really becomes, how can you prioritize making sure that you are actually addressing those systemic issues that are showing up in your life, right? And this is not a substitution. Like, you can't substitute that with Bath and Body Works. You can't substitute that with your favorite, coffee mug or whatever. We have to really look at your actual holistic wellness, right? That might mean finding community with people that love and care for you, finding spaces where you have like advocacy capability, where you can actually say, this is what I want and this is what I need, where you can set boundaries. And I'm gonna tell you another one, and this is really very, very important to me. Having adequate medical care is no longer optional. And we are a family that is like, listen, we either gonna love our doctors or we going somewhere else.
We would invite our doctors to Thanksgiving. That's how we feel about our doctors. If you can't get invited to Thanksgiving, we change your doctors. Because we don't, that's just not what we do. You're not, I'm going to know that you care about me as a person. I'm going to know that you are really truly concerned about how I feel. I'm going to know that in my knower, or you're not going to be my doctor. And here's the thing. I know what some of y'all gonna say, but Liz, look, I don't care. Look again. If you get tired of looking, you know you're talking to the wrong person. You know you're talking to the wrong person. I'm gonna tell you, keep looking. Now here's the
She's
thing.
really not gonna stand for it, honestly. She is just really not gonna
It's
stand
just not. Now, here's what I'm holding space for this. I'm holding space for that you do have a physician and you may not like your physician. And so I'm not suggesting not to have one until you find the one you love. I'm just telling you, keep going until you find the one you love. So
right,
keep looking. Keep looking and don't wait for a crisis to look, because if you don't trust your physician when it's just your annual, what do you think is going to happen in the moment of a crisis?
right.
Is that the person you want to be fooling with or not?
We know what the Tuskegee experiment was. Okay, like we understand. We know who Henrietta Lacks was, right? We understand why you might have some feelings about that, but in this day and age, it is so critically important that your care team cares for you. My children, when I moved down, and I don't when I moved down to Indianapolis, so I moved here in 2006, and I was pregnant with my now 19-year-old. I didn't know who I was gonna have for a doctor, because I had the same pediatrician until I had my first child, and my first child had my same pediatrician. I'm like, I don't know where I'm taking my child. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I was working at an immediate care, and I saw the way Dr. Joanne Smith took care of the patients, and I was like, she's gonna take care of my kids. And she was our pediatrician for 18 years. She took care of all of my kids, and my grandkids during the time. And she's retired, which she's allowed and everything. But what I'm telling you is, I drove. She was not she didn't operate in the town in which I live. Okay. So I
Y'all
drove to
didn't.
another town to make sure that I had somebody who could advocate for my children. And it is that serious, because when we talked a little bit about it at the top of the episode, when we're talking about the fact that they don't necessarily do the same data, there's not the same research. And so Dr. Smith will be like, they say your BMI is too high, but it's good. Because she's looking at it like, you a black child, then this is based on white people, we good. Or she'd be like, they said your blood pressure a little high, come back in a month. I want you checking it out. Like, she's gonna be very consistent about that. And somebody who will let stuff slide is not your friend.
Mm. And let me tell you something. The other thing about Dr. Smith is, like, if Calvalyn was having an issue with one of the girls, she'd be like, that's okay, we're going to see Dr. Smith. Because Dr. Smith will put them kids in a headlock. We'd be like, is Dr. Smith about to whoop these kids? Like, and Dr. Smith, I would like the record to show Dr. Smith was not a woman of color. And Dr. Smith was
I don't really know what her ethnicity was, and I never asked her. I mean, she's not black. That's for
She's
sure.
not black. I'm just saying she's
But
not black, and it really wasn't giving Latina to me either.
it
It really
wasn't, and
wasn't.
I never asked, and quite frankly, didn't care, right?
That's
And I think that's a great point too, because it's not. And listen, and my doctor to this day, my doctor name is Romero. He ain't black either, but the point is, it doesn't necessarily have to be a black person that takes care of you, but it has to be a person that values you as a human being and recognizing that your blackness does matter. If you're listen now, listen.
uh-oh. Listen,
And
Linda.
this is something specifically that I train on when I am training doctors and nurses on trauma informed care. If your doctor says they don't see color, pew, I want you out. I want you out as fast as you can. I'm not playing with you.
What is the pew? What kind of pew? What?
I want you out. I
This
want
giving
you
road
out of
runner.
here. I
This
am
very
not
much
kidding.
giving road runner.
If
What?
your doctor says they don't see color, I want you out of there, because they will let something slide that could literally be catastrophic.
Here's the thing. Guess what, guys? When people say they don't see color, I tell them that color blindness is not okay. Like color blindness is a disease. If you was walking around all day and you couldn't see color, you'd ask somebody to fix it for you, right? Because you're designed to see color. And so it's okay to see color as long as you're going to respond appropriately when you do. It's not about it's not about race. It's not about people think when they say they don't see color that it means that they are free of prejudice or racism. And that's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is that you can understand that certain genetics m- medically might show up a certain way, and that for
Correct.
another person it may not. And let
Correct.
the record show none of us, and I say none, and I say zero, and I feel absolutely confident in zero. Zero of us have are capable of not having any prejudices.
It's possible.
It's
It's not
all
possible.
we're all human beings. So no
Right.
matter what we all have the opportunity to have some sort of prejudice, whether it's about race, gender, ethnicity, it doesn't matter. We education, we all have that. So I'm not expecting somebody to act like they don't know that I'm black. I
Mm.
want you to know that I'm black.
And you better.
And if
And
you,
you better.
because if you don't, pew, she said, pew.
Listen, here's the thing. Here's why. When you look at, I'm just going to use the black maternal mortality rate, right? When we look at how fast black women tend to be ignored for their concerns during childbirth, and how frequently that can lead to their death. When you have the GOAT, Serena Williams, with her white husband sitting beside her, who almost dies in childbirth because they didn't take her complaint seriously, you better know that any black woman in this country is potentially susceptible to that same situation.
And let me tell you something. The way she'll read your doctor for filth and ask all the questions that she knows to ask. Because one thing, I mean, Calvin used to work at a hospital. She did medical profession for at least 10 years. And so let me tell you something. And not only that, but just the life experience of other family and friends that we've supported. I mean, like we are old school family. We be up at the hospital sleeping.
With a notebook beside us so that we could write down
Except
everybody's names who come in and out of the room.
1202, Nurse Sally Sue came in here and she brought the medication. We counted it with 6 pills.
One
1210.
of them was blue, two of them was red. That's how my mama was doing 50 years ago, y'all. That's how my mama was doing 50 years ago. Okay? So what we're saying is these things feel heavy, but they're so important in your overall well-being. And we want you to know that it's not fair that it has to be this way. But don't let that stop the fact that you take good care of yourself, that you acknowledge that this is a reality. I
Mhm.
would love for us to get to a world in which this doesn't exist, but just saying it doesn't exist doesn't make it not exist.
And so we spent a lot of time going through the medical because that's where you're going to see a lot of it.
Right.
But I also want to make sure that we look at some of the things that you might not think about as much, and that could be like sleep disruption,
Mm.
right? That could be it could be high leaning towards high functioning depression. Like you just don't want to be
Mm.
bothered. You don't want to come out. You don't want to be by nobody. You don't really want to talk anymore. Right? So I want you to really become an investigator of
Right.
who you are and how you are and why you are. And if you can't point to some reasons why you are avoiding this friendship circle and why you're turning down invitations to come out the house, I want you to be curious about that, because you need to put together your team of caregivers, and it's not only your doctor.
Right.
I'm going to step out here in Minority Mental Health Awareness Month and say it's also your therapist.
Period.
It's also your therapist, where you can go in and you can read your coworkers for filth with your therapist confidentially. You can call everybody, every single thing you want to call them in this space, and get it off your chest, and figure out your plan. How you're going to cope with this situation, right? And maybe it's your life coach who's going to work with you on some deep breathing strategies and techniques. Maybe you're going to make your plan for changing careers, or changing occupations, or changing at least employers, or changing your business model moving forward. So your team is not only your physician; it could be your therapist or your life coach, right?
Right.
Because and you need to learn how to sleep, and you need to learn how to breathe,
Right.
right? Okay, I thought I was
Here's the
telling it.
thing, and part of that is an acknowledgement that the cultural norms of the hustle and grind are not something that we need to continue to wear as a badge of honor, right? And we're not just talking about, oh, eliminating stress. No, we're not talking about eliminating stress. That's probably impossible. But we are talking about choosing where you allow stress to be a part of your story because it gets you to where you want to be, and choosing where, no, 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 that's not for me to take on. And I won't. And no, thank you. Right. So that's what this is actually about. It's about like intentionally designing a life that doesn't make you age faster than you need to, because that is the kind of the definitive answer of what weathering does to you. And it's why we sometimes have seen like people that we thought were okay that just drop dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, or people
Yeah.
that we thought were doing well, or we thought that they were, successful. And you're like, well, what happened? What happened is their body on the inside wasn't as good, wasn't as well taken care of. And sometimes that's because they were carrying so very much. So you can still be ambitious, you can still have your goals, you can still have your dreams, you can still have your desires. There will be stressors, some that you won't be able to control, others that you will be able to control. But ultimately, we just want you to be aware of how this could be impacting you, how it could be showing up, and most importantly, that you have some solutions and some alternatives up in this piece.
I mean, I think that really is the thing. You hit it on the head there, that it's just about our own acknowledgement. And that is a part of our accountability and responsibility in this conversation. That so much of the time we have not made peace with being willing to accept help, being willing to ask for help,
Yeah.
being willing to acknowledge the end of ourselves. Like, it's really okay to say, I am tired. I can't go another further. Let me figure out what I need to do here to reset so that I can do this differently. I need support, I need help, because we love the outside, which takes us back to that black don't crack. But we really need to be paying more attention to the infrastructure. So the life that you're building, because you're ambitious and because you work hard and because you're driven, because everybody's proud of you. Big Mama and Pookie, they always patting you on the back. That is fantastic. I love that for you. But I really, why you, Cal, why you,
Well, she uses Big Mama and Pookie for everything. For everything. Those are the two. If she gonna pull two names from the sky, it's gonna be Big Mama and Pookie.
let me tell you something. Because you said that, I will find some other names. So now, whether it's
I'm
Auntie
not saying
Bam
you have
Bam,
to find another name. I'm just saying it is what it is.
I'm just gonna call it Auntie and Bam Bam then. How about that? Auntie and Bam Bam? Is that what you want? You want that better than Big Mama and
Yeah.
Pookie?
Does anybody okay, love your lifers. Is anybody calling y'all cousin Bam Bam? Or is that the Flintstones?
Man
Because
Man.
I see
Man Man then. Okay, Auntie
Man
and Man
Man.
Man.
Oh, you know it's
Auntie and
Man
Man Man
Man.
then. That's what we're gonna do. If it's Auntie
Wait a
and Man Man.
minute, lifers, do
Here's
y'all
what
have a Man Man in y'all family?
we got one. Raise your hand if you got a man man. Raise your hand if you got a man man. Hey, wait, wait. Hey, 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 or stink stink. But here's the thing though. The thing about it is, the reason why Big Mama and Pookie comes out of my mouth so much is because if you are that go-to girl, you're the one who made it out in the family. You're the one who's made everybody proud. I'm saying all this in quotes. You've done the right things. You the first phone call. You the leader. You the all that stuff that wears you out and weathers you. If you're that girl, then Big Mama and Pookie, they always in your ear telling you that you're doing that they're proud of you for doing it. So I'm always trying to talk in a way so that my sisters can hear what applies to them. And so, hey, tell us in the chat, who is your Big Mama and Pookie? If it's not Big Mama and Pookie, if it's Auntie and Bam Bam, if it's Auntie and Man Man, if it's Uncle Snake and whoever, like whatever it is, let us know in the chat. Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Uncle Snake?
Uncle Snake, if it, whoever it is, tell us, because I know y'all got those people. I know y'all got those people who are going to say, you know what? I know I can always call on you. Girl, you make me so proud. You always, whenever the sisters
Listen,
start.
that's the worst part. That's the worst
What?
part. When that
What?
is like, I know I can count on you, be like,
Right. I know you can count on me and you wear me all the way out. I can hardly think straight from y'all always counting on me. Okay? If that, I'm just telling you, that is, we know that's the case. So I know if somebody grandma, somebody mama, somebody auntie, somebody uncle, somebody pawpaw is saying that to y'all, expecting y'all to keep doing things the way you've always done it, and it's costing you your life. And here in Love You to Lifeline, we ain't gonna do it. Cause we ain't loving you to death around here. We loving you to
listen,
life.
that part. So here's what we want y'all to do. We want you to prioritize taking care of your mental health and your physical health. Okay. You're going to hear lots of people talking about mental health in the month in Minority Mental Health Month. And most of the stuff is going to be very generic and not apply to your actual life.
And be
Okay.
very, very dry.
White bread with no butter. So what we want y'all to do is we want you to identify one place in your life where weathering might be showing up, where maybe you are not listening to your body, while maybe you are saying like, hey, this just is not serving me right now. We want you to identify one of those places and make a plan for how you're going to address that weathering, right? Because maybe it's not something that you can immediately change. Maybe it does actually require some effort. Maybe you committed to something, you took on this job and you ain't found a new job yet. So, but we just want you to name it and make a plan for how you're going to address that. Not just, soften it, not just mitigate it, but actually address that so that it is not weathering your body down. Okay. We want you to stay connected here in Love You to Lifeline, where we're always giving you lots of strategies to support loving your life. And we would love for y'all to share this episode with a sister friend and have a good old conversation, because that community piece is so important. And I think it's one of the things that we sometimes let go when we're in the midst of living. We let go of that community, that connection, that, what, Lay, I'm finna hold you accountable. Didn't we say we was going to walk around this mall or whatever the case may be? So share this episode with a sister friend so that she can make sure she's not getting weathered on the inside as well.
I love that. You know what I thought about? We haven't discussed this, Cal. So I'm gonna put you
She's
on
off
Front Street.
notes again, y'all. Y'all see how she didn't got off notes?
I'm putting you on Front Street on the podcast.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
feel
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
feel
whoa.
like I feel like we need a which really clinically it is, I think, it's not a feeling. I think we need like a podcast listening party. When you said they can share with their sister friends, I really think like that would be great. Listen and stop and discuss. Listen and stop and discuss. Hey, what about that? Share. Stop and share. Hey, what you think?
Okay, y'all get down in the comments. Do y'all want a listening party?
Do
Because we'll
y'all
do
want
it.
a listening party? If y'all want a listening party, we want to organize that. We want to facilitate that. We want to help y'all with that. I think that'd be great.
Listen, you ain't said, look, what's this? Ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
She don't even eat chicken wings, y'all.
I sure
Take her,
know. I hate
take
chicken
her
wings.
black
Chicken
card.
wings
She
is
don't even
stupid.
eat chicken wings. Calvin
It's
does not like
stupid.
chicken wings, okay? Why she
Who
sit there
want to
pretending?
fight that hard for a little bit of chicken?
Girl, they don't fight no more. They just put it in and slide it out. Now, I think that's disgusting. But a lot of people just put it in and slide it
Who
out.
want to fight that hard for a little teeny tiny piece of chicken?
Mm-hmm. I love a good chicken wing. And don't mess around and make it lemon pepper. But that's just me.
I will occasionally eat a wing, a flat. I don't want a drum. Don't bring me no drum. I will
She's
occasionally eat
not
a flat.
she I mean, occasional be like once a year, if that, but you're not gonna find her going to get any. You're not gonna find it in her
Mm-mm,
home. You're not gonna
mm-mm,
find that on her menu
mm-mm,
plan ever. She's not
mm-mm,
gonna eat
never.
chicken wings.
Mm-mm.
But listen, Y'all didn't ask us about
But hey,
chicken
we
wings,
can have
but
some if y'all want to have a watch party, y'all can bring the chicken wings.
listen, because we've now discussed the chicken wings, if we have a watch party, I will be there with chicken wings, and I will be encouraging my sisters to bring their chicken wings as well, and they can be baked.
And on that note, thank y'all for joining us for this episode of the Love Your Life podcast. This windy, twisty road shenanigan one that hopefully taught you a little bit about weathering, that will hopefully make sure that you have some tools and some resources to live your best life, because that is what we want for you, because we love you to life. And we will see y'all in the next episode.
I love y'all so much. Hey, I love y'all so much. Hey, love y'all so much. Bye, guys. She won't let me do it. Bye, guys.